Welcome back to another video. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. MeiaSoQuick with the uploads. Intro's over. Subscribe before you go. Welcome back, it's MeiaSoQuick, and we are in day 2 of our 12 days of Christmas nail art. Okay, if you missed day 1, you can go ahead and click the little eye at the top and go ahead and see that video, because for the rest of until Christmas time, I'm going to be coming out with a daily video of just doing some different type of Christmas inspired, holiday inspired nail art. So here I am, just starting off with this Beetles base gel, and I'm going to apply a thin coat on that, and then I put it under my UV lamp for 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna go in with this dark blue in color 336. It's kind of a navy deep blue, and I'm going to apply a thin layer on this and then cure it, and then I'm gonna come back and do a second coat, so just to build up that opacity. So for this nail, I decided I think I want to do some snowflakes. And this is going to be a super easy design for you guys to do. So just stick around and you guys can see how I get into it. So the next thing, once those 2 coats are on, I'm going to go ahead and grab this white Beetles gel polish in color 325, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that on some backing paper. I use this paper for my nail forms, or you can also just get some wax paper. That way it just doesn't dry out your gel polish. So once I've got that on there, I'm going in with this McCart detailer brush. I think this is a number 2, and I'm just going to go ahead and get the product all over the bristles, and I'm just going to make a simple little star, if you will. So what I do is I do a cross, like a horizontal and a vertical line, and then I do the same thing going diagonal, so like a T and an X on top of each other, if you will. So here you can just see me doing that, and you can definitely take your time. At this point, once you have the shape, you can go ahead and cure that if you feel like, you'll accidentally touch it. For me, I felt a little bit confident, so I decided that I wanted to add another snowflake on here as well. So once again, I'm just doing the same thing. I make the shape of a T, and this one's kind of slightly off-centered, so it's only going to show about half of the snowflake. But I make the T, and then after the T, I go ahead and make an X, all leading on to the same center point to intersect. Okay, once I did that, I went ahead and I extended the lines on that first snowflake because I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger, since it was like super small. So you'll see me go back and just retouch up on that and just make those lines a little bit longer, so that way you can really see the details in this snowflake. Now, as I'm doing this, if there is a design you like to see me try to do, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and let's see if I can actually get to it. Okay, so I went ahead and cured that in the lamp, and the next thing I'm doing is grabbing a dotting tool. This is kind of like a medium large, and what I'm gonna do is go ahead and place a dot in the middle of the snowflake, and then I'm also going to go ahead and dot about halfway through each of my line strokes, and you'll see me just kind of going around every line. I'm going to make a dot in the center of that line. Once I've done that, you can kind of see what it's starting to look like, trying to give you an angle from all over. But as I said, you just make your simple dots, you dip in as you need to. Okay, if they're not all exactly the same, that's fine. No 2 snowflakes are the same, or at least that's, I think, what they taught me in elementary or somewhere around there. Once I've done that on both of these snowflakes, I go in with the smaller side of my dotting tool and I make a dot at the very tip of those strokes that I made before. So when it's all said and done, you'll have a small dot and a bigger dot leading up to the middle of the snowflake. And as you can see, this is super easy. I mean, for the most part, you can kind of cure that and actually end it there if you actually like this style. I'm a little bit extra, so of course it's not going to end there. I'll never have a 4-minute video. What can I say? So after I went ahead and applied these dots all around to both of my snowflakes, I went ahead, I cured that, and then once I cured that, I went back in and grabbed my small detailer brush, because as I said, I'm extra, so I gotta keep going. So with a small detailer brush, I'm gonna take that white again, and in between the two dots. So in between the dot at the very end of the stroke and then the midway point, I am just going to make like a little V. All right, just a slash on each side of that long stroke in between the two dots. So you can see me zoomed in here as best as I can. Hopefully you guys can make this out. And I'm just making a little V. Okay, you can actually do this style instead of dots. You could do a bunch of tiny little V's going up the strokes to make an actual snowflake, and that design is really cute too, and it's easy as well. So as you can see, I'm just gonna go around all of these I don't know, arms of the snowflake. I'm gonna call them arms, and just make these little V's. As you can see, super easy. And once I do that for all of them, I let it cure, and then you can top coat it, as I said, and you can leave it at that, and that would work out perfectly great. So there you go. There's a closer look of what it looks like with the V's versus what it looks like without me adding those little V's. And like I said, it just gives it a little bit of extra pizzazz. So that's once I've done it to both. And as I said, at this step, you can go ahead and top coat it. However, I'm still being extra. So I'm going to go in with this glitter. It's in 340. And I'm just going to kind of graze over it. I don't want the glitter because it is like really packed in glitter. It's not that sparse. So I'm just kind of like barely floating my brush over the top of this, and you can see where the glitter kind of just comes through. Kind of reminded me of snow. So once I've done that, again, I'm going to cure it under my lamp for 2 minutes. And then the final thing is I'm just going to grab my shiny top coat, and I'm just going to top coat this nail, and it is good to go. So as I said, it's a super easy design. You can definitely, do a whole full set with this, or you can do some with just the dark blue, or some with white, some with the other little star snowflakes, just to kind of create a full set, okay? So this is just what it looks like modeled on my finger, because, I actually don't really wear too long of nails, but I think I could get into it. Even though I think this would seem like some weapons. Okay, so for my next nail, I'm gonna do a different version of a snowflake. So I'm starting off with this super light blue, right? It's like a sky blue color. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do this on the base of the nail. I did apply the base gel off camera, just in case you're wondering. If you don't want to do the base gel, you can always just buff out the shine of the nail and go directly in with the gel polish. So once I've done that, I grabbed just a little cheap dollar store beauty sponge, and I've got all these different blues. I've got 336, which is the dark blue that we just used on our previous nail, 335, which is this mid blue, and then I can't even tell what number this is on this super light blue, but it's the same light blue that I did the nail with. And I went and soaked all those colors into the sponge, and then I'm just gonna dab this sponge all over the nail. Okay, I keep the light part at the bottom and the darkest going towards the back of the nail, as you can see. So I patted it on, I cured it, and then I think I repeated this step 3 times in total. So you're not going to see all of those steps on camera, but just know that to build up that opacity, I wind up doing it about 3 times and curing it like a flash cure for just about 30 seconds to a minute in between. So when it was all over, this is what it came out looking like, a nice little ombre gradient from dark blue to light blue, and I think it came out really great. So the next thing that I'm doing is, once again, I'm grabbing that white and I'm grabbing my striping brush. Now this time with the snowflake, it's a little bit different. Instead of doing a T and an X, I'm just gonna do one straight vertical line and then an X. Okay, so this snowflake has less arms. So let me say that again. Not a T and an X. This one just has one straight vertical line and then an X on top. Okay, if you are working on a square nail, or a nail that probably just isn't as narrow as a stiletto, or probably a coffin, like even an almond probably, you just want to go ahead and play around with the lengths of your snowflakes, because you can kind of make them where they're all arms would be the same length, or like for this one, I stretched out the vertical one just because I wanted to take up more room on the stiletto nail. All right, but once I did that, I went ahead and cured it, and once again, I'm grabbing my smaller striping brush, and this time, in between those arms, I'm doing another V. However, this is the opposite direction, as you can see, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw in these tiny little V's. If you can, kind of make it perfect, you can try to make sure that wherever you make the V, it's gonna be the same point going all the way around, okay? I could probably stand to clean this up just a little bit better, but this is about the 5th nail I've done in a day, so I'm just kind of moving through these, if you will. Okay, so after you went ahead and did all of those, you can go ahead and see what it looks like. Okay, and then I just go ahead and cure it, because once I'm happy with something, I gotta cure it before I mess it up. So now that it's back, what I do is, like we did on the previous nail, now I'm gonna make those little V's on the actual arms of the nail. So it's like the opposite V shape of what we just did. It's kind of like flipped in the reverse. So I'm just going to go around on all those arms and make those little slashes, those little V's on all of these extended arms of the snowflakes. Super easy. Once again, like you can definitely do this, and it doesn't take long. It just takes the right tools, right? You want to make sure that you have something thin enough. And if you don't have a brush, I think you can possibly even get away with like using a toothpick. If you don't have a dotting tool, get like a bobby pin. Like you can definitely do that. Heck, I've even seen things done with safety pins. So just go out there and create. And as you can see, once I've done that, I've cured it in my very last step, which you don't have to do, but like I said, the moral of this whole thing is just called extra. I'm grabbing my dotting tool and I'm just gonna dot the very ends of each of these arms extended from the snowflake. Okay, I wish I knew what these things were called, because I keep calling them arms, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe because I'm thinking of like a clock, arms and a clock, hands. No, those are called hands. Never mind, ignore what I just said. So there you go. That is the snowflake. And so I go ahead, I cure that. No, because I still wanted to do more. So here's me adding snow, dots of snow. Okay, or maybe very, very tiny snowflakes. But I just grabbed my dotting tool and I went ahead and dotted. And then I went and grabbed some lightly blue glitter. Oh my God, I forgot I actually did all of this. Oh my God, I'm still working on this nail. I could have been done. But I'm glad I grabbed this glitter and then the dotting tool, and I'm going over my little dots of snow. I went over all my little snow dots, and then I think I even dotted the middle of the snowflake, okay? Not sure how well you'll pick it up on camera, but in person, it does add a little bit of a bling to it, and I like it. It's fancy. So the last step, of course, is gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shiny top coat this as well. You could matte top coated if you're into that, but I just really wanted that glitter to stand out. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna go apply a thin coat of that, cure it under the lamp in 2 minutes. And when it's all said and done, this is what it looks like. And here are both my snowflake nails. I think they came out really cute, really festive on a cool type of vibe, okay? Once again, I'm gonna be doing nail art for the next 11 days, so tune in, and thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to hit the subscribe or hit that thumbs up if you actually like this video, and I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Until then, see you next time.